Yeah, welcome to this final session of the conference. My name is Akshay Pradeepa, and I'm part of the Triratna Earth Sangha convenors team. There's a few of us here, so just to give you a bit of a heads up, so the session is going to take not longer than 90 minutes, and what we're going to do is we're going to use the first 20 minutes or so to just talk a bit about what the Triratna Earth Sangha does. And then we're going to have some time for a reporting out in breakout rooms. And for that, if you would like to be in a German speaking room or in a Spanish speaking room, I see some of you have already put Germany in your name. We can make that happen basically. And then we're going to do a puja together. So that's going to be the final part of this session. It's going to be the green puja from the big puja book, which I'll lead you through. And there's going to be an opportunity also for somebody to offer a mantra if you would like. Okay, so that's just what we're gonna do. And yes, so let's start with the Triratna Earth Sangha. So, I mean, you've probably got a bit of an idea of what we're doing because you've been here at the conference, but basically we're a group of order members and mitras that came together at the beginning of last year. Initially in the run-up to COP26 in Glasgow, wondering about what we could do to raise awareness and gather some momentum around Buddhist practice and climate change. And we've offered a few events since then. So there's been an Earth Day meditation, an online retreat earlier this year, and then the conference last year. And Shanti Garba and others have also been doing some awareness raising within Triratna institutions. So there is a mandate from the ECA around environmental and climate change, and we are sort of seen as one of the things that how Triratna is sort of like fulfilling this mandate by the European Chairs Assembly. So, but another strand to our work is also that there are some local groups who are doing different things. And we've got a few people here who are taking part in local groups, and they'll just introduce you a little bit to what they're doing. And maybe Chrissy, could you go first and just talk a bit about what's happening in North London?
Sure, I can do. Okay, thank you. So I'm Chrissy. I am a TFO Mitra in North London Buddhist Center, and I've been involved with the center for the past 6 years. And we came together as a group, a few of us that have the same interest to kind of bring together our environmental concerns with our Dharma practice. We came together a year ago. So I'm going to share a little bit about what we have been doing. And I'll end with a quick note about what it means for my practice being part of the this local environmental group. So it's kind of 5 core members of us, and we have 5 or so other kind of Sangha members who are interested, but in a broader kind of wider way. And that's good because they can come along and support events, even if they don't always want to be at the meetings we do. And what we have been trying to do is basically tag along to things happening already at the center to raise awareness in a broad way. So we had Akasa Raja. We invited Akasa Raja early this year, yeah. And he gave an excellent talk on ethics and kind of touched on environmental concerns, but he took a broad kind of perspective on it, which was good because it was very inclusive, and it was part of a series of talks that the center had on the 6 parameters. So that worked quite well. Later in the year, we tagged along on Parinirvana Day, and we hosted a kind of led meditation / experiential exercise using Sandy Garba's steps to process grief from his book, The Burning House. So trying to use the resource that there is there already from test members. Later in the year, we had another Sangha night event where we invited Sangha Sia, who has been doing a lot of work on deep ecology at London Buddhist Center for a while. And that the night had a very interesting discussion about what it means for us to take skillful action independent of outcomes for our daily lives and our practice. And yeah, next month we are planning another Sangha night where we want to, members of the environmental group will share what it means for us to kind of bring together the environmental concerns and taking action and with our Dharma practice. And again, we will be using Sandy Garba's recent video on why the ecological crisis is an ethical issue for Buddhists and Triratna in specific, and anchoring it there basically. So that's a few of the things we have been doing, and alongside these, we are working towards the Sustainable Buddhist Center scheme, which requires to take 10 steps to achieving it. I'm not going to go through the steps, but part of them is raising awareness, which we have been trying to do through those events, and taking action to kind of make the building itself more sustainable, zero carbon, and kind of switching to green energy suppliers. So we have been looking into that and promoting public transport, vegan diet, and so on. Yeah, so these are some of the things we have been doing, and yeah, plans are for next year to continue finding opportunities to raise awareness through events and bringing the Dharmic perspective on the ecological crisis. Yeah, as a last thing to share on what it means, like for my practice, and to connect it to what Nico was saying on Friday night, for those of you who were there. He was talking about holding two opposites, well, holding opposites in our heart, basically. And what I find myself experiencing is that I'm very, very grateful that in our very small center, I have 5 core other people who are so deeply interested in the same thing as me, and that means a lot, taking action alongside them. But at the same time, you know, it's a slow pace, and I find myself kind of feeling that impatience against the climate emergency and thinking, no, we should be doing more, sort of thing. So yeah, it's a great practice in itself, being part of the group, and a great practice in patience alongside being able to take action. So yeah, that's it from me.
Thank you, Chrissy. That's been really, really interesting also to hear your reflections around like what it means to your practice. And I got a clear sense that you're really embedding yourself in like just the general program of the Buddhist Center. So that's really great to hear. So, and then we've got, I think, Sarvajit, who's going to talk a little bit about what his center has been up to.
Yeah, okay, so my name's Sarvajit from Cambridge. And we have a Triratna Earth Sangha local meeting once a month, which I think, I was trying to remember, I think we started last September, we launched it. It was something around that, so it's been going just over a year. I hesitate because we've been running a Sangha action group, or I have been, for about 5 years now. So one of the big things with Triratna Earth Sangha is that it's really given that group quite a bit of credibility. So one of the big benefits we have is that we now get quite a lot more support from our trustees, and we're much more central in the program of the centre, really, rather than just being this offshoot that a few of us more wacky people were often doing and people could forget about us, kind of thing. So that's been really useful. When we launched, I think we got about 40 odd people that came along to the launch, so that really increased the profile and the publicity, if you like. And now we have monthly meetings where probably around about 15 people come on a regular basis, not always the same people, but it's around about that number. And we have various topics and get various members of the Sangha to talk about things. So yesterday, which clashed with this conference, my bad, it was terrible organisation. We were looking at how dharmic activism is. So we had a very in-depth conversation about stuff that I think a lot of us as Buddhists worry about in terms of, you know, if we're out there and getting in the way of people and disrupting things, how dharmic is that? It was just really inspiring, actually, the different ways people are getting engaged and how they're sort of addressing that ethical dilemma, really. Other things we've talked about how to communicate our concerns in a sort of dharmic way. Global justice, we had a whole session on global justice and how that relates to climate justice. Personal challenges and renunciation. So even if you don't want to become an activist, how can you change your lifestyle? So those sorts of discussions, really encouraging people to look at how they feel about the climate change and then what they can do to address it. One of the important things that we realised right away, we're not affiliated to any particular group. So although most of the core members are Extinction Rebellion types, we don't actually link ourselves to that because we found that other members in the Sangha were being put off by that association. So we very deliberately position ourselves as something which, where we're not expecting people to be activists. If they want to come along and just sort of share their feelings, then they can do, and that seems to be bearing fruit. We are getting people that, you know, aren't comfortable sitting in roads and stuff like that. We linked to the Triratna Earth Sangha meeting each month. We have a big sit, which is an interfaith meditation that we do inside the big shopping centres in Cambridge, just trying to highlight the madness of consumerism, really, and just giving some quiet time. That is an offshoot of Silent Rebellion, which we've been doing for about 2.5, 3 years now, where weekly we sit outside shopping centres and just meditate and let people sort of notice that there might be another way rather than retail therapy. I think that's probably all I've got to mention. Oh no, actually, we also have a little outreach group. So Hertford is a group that Cambridge sort of supports. They don't have a centre, they hire a centre, but they've got a very thriving Sangha. And there's two people, Katie, who has been on this conference. I don't think she's on this call. But she and Amber run a separate group, and they've done things like meetings to discuss Active Hope, the Active Hope book, and they've also held cafe conversations in Hertford, which has been very, very successful in terms of engaging with the public. So that's been a nice thing that's come out of the Triratna Earth Sangha in Cambridge. Yeah, so it's proving to be very useful, I think, and having the link and the Triratna Earth Sangha is definitely something that's helping increase our visibility within the Sangha.
Thank you. Thanks. Yeah, no, really great to hear from you, and particularly, I mean, interesting how you described the positioning within the center and how it's helpful to be part of Triratna Earth Sangha, and also really great to hear about the big sit. And I think I've heard that there might be offshoots soon in London, for example.
Yeah, I think that it's being discussed.
Yeah. So I think that's an idea that people could just quite easily take and do it in other places. Anyway, so yeah, no, that's great to hear. Thanks a lot, Savajit. And finally, we've got Angela, who's based in Glasgow, and she'll tell us a bit about the Glasgow Social Action Committee, whose mandate is a bit wider than environmental stuff. But yeah, please do tell us about the sort of Triratna Earth Sangha type stuff that you're doing.
Oh, thanks very much, Shaya Pradeepa and Chrissy and Sarvajit. Yeah, it's really interesting hearing where they're at with theirs and what the history is of those. I mean, in Glasgow, we've had, as Akshay Pradeep is saying, we've had this group called a Social Action Cooler since, I think, at least the start of 2019. So definitely prefigures Triratna Earth Sangha. So it's not technically a local group for TESS, but we do connect in very much and have sometimes worked together. So technically, as she says, our remit is much broader. However, last year with COP coming to Glasgow, it's like, okay, let's if we don't do something, that would be a massive missed opportunity. So it's hard to kind of define what we did. We did a lot of organising, we did a lot of liaising between sort of across interfaith, across people wanting to do vigils. We joined in, we rallied our local Sangha, we connected with people in other Triratna Sanghas, we connected across other Buddhist groups, and it felt very fulfilling and very exhausting. But yeah, it was kind of a lot of really valuable and satisfying work last year, and many people got involved, and we had regular meetings, etc., etc. So I would say that since the last TESS conference, our activities fall into 3 phases, basically. COP, which also involved joining in the local, the school climate strikes on Fridays. We sat in George Square a few times. That was really strong and powerful, and they were quite big groups at times. Yeah, so then as soon as COP was over, many of us just collapsed. And so there was a definite phase of hibernation for a few months. And then, I think for some of us that felt a bit scary. It's like, oh my goodness, well, you set something in motion, and then how much responsibility do you have for that, and how do you take it forward? So I hope that, what I'm saying and what I finish off by saying is quite encouraging for people, and that, we just have regrouped and discovered that, we only need to do with what the energy is there for, and there's nothing set in stone. And yes, we do have a mandate from our council at the Glasgow Buddhist Centre, but they're completely in agreement that, this is voluntary, and we do what we can, and we do it and we don't even have mandatory monthly meetings now. We just meet when there is energy and when there is a passion and some drive from at least one person, so 2 or more people, to present something or initiate something. And so far it's working very well. It's taken pressure off people, especially the people who were doing most of the work. There's been quite a lot of illness amongst us this year for some reason. Maybe it's connected with prior busyness. But what we have done this year is we do have a remit in Glasgow to honour the Ambedkar anniversaries, and we have had Kaylee fundraisers for the anniversary of his birthday, and we give funds to Karana. And then we have a more sober kind of honouring of the mass conversions in October, and we recently had that. We had that for the anniversary of the Boomish, anyway, the conversions last month. So yeah, probably coming up for time anyway. But really, how we're moving forward is that we've agreed to focus on regeneration, and so just regenerative practice sessions, as I say, where there is interest and energy for it, and just a real appreciation for these as supportive conditions from where ideas and activation for action may arise, and time just to share together and to even to do arts things together. We've talked maybe about singing, and we're hoping to offer that out to the wider Sangha as well when we do kind of tack those on to whatever meetings we do have. So that's, I think, the way forward, which is, I think, to just keep regrouping, keep looking at where the energy is and what capacity there is, and yeah, act as the eco-sattva together, I think. Thank you.
Thank you, Angela. Yeah, really good to hear from you. And yeah, I think it's a really important topic around like what do people have energy for and how to deal with that, because we'll all be in multiple contexts. Tends to be that if somebody is engaged and cares about the world, then that usually happens in more than one forum. So yeah, no, it's really great to get a sense of how you're sort of working with that. So yeah, thank you. So yeah, that gives you a little bit of an idea of like what some of the local groups are doing. I appreciate all the 3 examples were from the UK. I know there is a green group at the San Francisco Buddhist Center, which I think predates the Triratna Earth Sangha, and similarly Essen, I think, has a long-standing group as well. But you might have heard some things just now that you're very welcome to copy or get in touch with us, and we can link you up or start a group at your center. So yeah, that yeah, hopefully it has given you some ideas. And now I'm going to invite Shanti Garba to talk a bit about our plans for next year.
Thank you. Thanks, Akshaya Pradeepa. Okay, so just before that, just want to mention another recent development, which is that the recent International Council meeting adopted a priority the same as the ECA, the European Chairs Assembly. So the International Council have now adopted a priority of dharmic engagement with social and ecological issues. So to be in keeping with the European Chairs Assembly, and we're specifically mentioned in that priority. The Triratna Earth Sangha is specifically mentioned. So various other things as well. But I say that because that we have a mandate now from both the ECA, European Chairs Assembly, and the International Council to continue with our work, and obviously to be in touch, to liaise with them. So our main event in the first part of next year will be an urban retreat for the ECA, for the European Chairs Assembly. So this year in June, when was it? I think it was in June, we ran a home retreat, which is like a mini version of what we're going to do next year, which is an urban retreat. And the deal here is that centres opt in to this urban retreat. They opt in as a centre and organise a programme at their centre. So here are the details. Triratna Earth Sangha Urban Retreat, 1st to 5th of June, 2023. So that's going to be part of Buddhist Action Month. So it gives centres a program that they can opt into, they can join into as part of Buddhist Action Month. We don't yet have a theme, so if you're interested in being part of the process of finding a theme, then talk to me or talk to us, because we, very shortly after this conference, we need to kind of gather a team of people. We have a couple of people already interested. We need to gather a team to take this forward, and our first priority is to film a little video for the European Chairs Assembly in January. That's our first sort of promotion opportunity. And the urban retreat will start a 30-day habit challenge. So we'll have a kind of 30-day habit challenge running through June, running through Buddhist Action Month. We've got some ideas about how to do that. Yeah, we'll be launching it at the European Chairs Assembly in January. And here's the crucial thing: those chairs that want to will opt in and organise participation at their centre. It's not mandatory that the centres all take this up. It's an opt-in. So if you want to have a word in the ear of your centre chair and say, "Oh, something's coming up in January that could support you to have something, to organise something during Buddhist Action Month." So it's an urban retreat, first 5 days of June, and even if you want to volunteer that you're willing to support that in some kind of way, because chairs love it if you're willing to support an initiative at the centre. Yeah. So So this would be how we can sort of roll this out more widely to the Sangha. And given the uptake of this, so looking further ahead in 2023, given the uptake and attendance at this conference, I'm pretty confident we'll organize another online conference around this time next I guess it'll be next November. Yeah, so anyway, that's to come. We'll sort that out nearer the time, but we've got the urban retreat in June in our sights. Thank you. Back to Akshaya Pradeep.
Thank you, Shantigava. That's been really good. And I just made a mental note to myself to flag it to our chair. I'm the center manager, so I've got some influence on the program. Anyway, yeah, so that's hopefully given you some ideas about what's coming up. If you've got any questions, you can pop them in the chat now. Yeah, or contact us later. So we've got, maybe somebody could pop in the link to our website again, just so people know how to contact us. Okay, so that's the first bit of this session. And now we're going to go into I wonder, did that come up in this forum? I think so. The Eco-Sattva course is a course run, Andy, which tradition is with David Loy and others, and I think there was, I think Sarah from North London, she's part of the North London test group. I think she's interested in maybe doing the course with some people together, but that's all I know about it. Does anyone know anything more than that? Please unmute yourself. And
yeah, I just say, so Christine Thuring and I are co-facilitating that. And so Christine has organized, you go to One Earth Sangha to register, but you don't want to just register as an individual. So I think Christine gave a link earlier, and I'll put my email address in so you can contact me and I'll figure out what that link is and send it to you. But you register as part of the Triratna Earth Sangha group, who is going to go through Eco-Sattva training together. And we'll be doing that in January. And depending on what time zones and how many people are participating, we'll try to have one or multiple groups so everyone could participate. And if enough people from Europe join, you can have your own group and still get the discount of registering through Triratna Earth Sangha.
that's fantastic. I didn't even know about this. Well done for setting that up. That's fantastic. And this course looks—
Oh, and I should say Sila Suri, who is also on this link, is part of the co-organizers.
Fantastic. Yeah, no, that's great to hear that you're doing that. The course looks very good. So yeah, there's the link, and just making a mental note to myself that will share it with the wider Triratna Sangha, yeah, with other people who might be interested. Fantastic. So that's another thing that's coming up that you can join. Yes. So now we've got some time to report out from the conference in small groups. And I'm suggesting some questions that I'm just going to pop in the chat. One moment. Oh, and there's going to be a German-speaking group with the Eco-Sattva training as well. That's fantastic development. Anyway, just changing gear, reporting out from the conference. So as it happens, there are 3 questions. What was a highlight during the conference? I think it's also a really good opportunity to just recap. It's been so rich, and I don't know how you feel, but there's been really some, I mean, for me, sessions, there have been some real nuggets that I want to hold on to. So it's also an opportunity to recap what we've heard and what we really valued. So first question, what was a highlight during the conference? Second question, what do I take with me? So that might be new ideas, new practices, or new connections, or anything else. And then third question, is there a next step for me and what is it? So I suspect for quite a few of you, as it sounds, this Eco-Sattva training might be a next step. Hopefully, maybe, yeah, some people will also get involved in other stuff. But here are the three questions. Can I just confirm with our tech host, will they be visible in the breakout rooms once people, yes, you're nodding, that's fantastic. Okay, so I'd suggest we take 15 minutes in groups of 3. Does that sound okay? Okay, that's okay with our tech host. So yeah, so he's working on setting up the rooms.
Yeah, it's already done, the groups. We will have groups in English with 3 people, and 1 in German, and 1 small in Spanish.
Fantastic. Okay, then let's send us in our into our breakouts.
Good.
Thank you. Welcome back, everyone. I think that's all of us. I think so. Yeah, that is all of us. Yeah. Hopefully that's given you a bit of an opportunity to connect with others and start to process a little bit of what happened this weekend, basically. So we'll conclude this session with a ritual. But before that, I just really wanted to give my gratitude to all of you for attending and our whole team. And particularly the Buddhist Center Online, which is personified here by David, who is doing our tech hosting, who's been doing a lot of tech hosting this weekend. And yeah, so we're really super grateful. I know you had barely had any sort of break today, but we're super, super grateful for your support and the support of the whole Buddhist Center Online team. And then I would also like to thank our translators. So yeah, I think Janet Chandra and Sadaruchi are on this call, but yeah, we had, I think in total 5 different translators this weekend, and that's been really, really fantastic. Really great to have you on board and just, yeah, make this accessible to more people. So yeah, thanks a lot to all of you. Yes. Okay, so my plan is to do the green puja from the puja book, and there's been an offering from Alyssa for a reading, which is fantastic. If anyone felt moved to do either a Tara or an Amitabha mantra, that would be lovely. And also, if because we're on Zoom, what might work is if we do the call and response. Yeah, basically, if somebody would volunteer to respond, so it would only us 2 be unmuted, and then the rest of you can respond but on mute, if that would work. So yeah, so 3 opportunities to participate in this puja, with like either being the responder or the chanting a Tara mantra or chanting an Amitabha mantra. If you're, and I mean, we're a small group, so don't be shy. Yeah, if anyone wants to volunteer, please put your hand up. Silasiri, that's fantastic. That's fantastic. That's great. Any offerings? Oh, and Jana Chandra, you've just raised your hand.
Tara mantra.
Fantastic. That's great. And anyone up for an Amitabha mantra? Angela? Fantastic. Okay, so what's going to happen? So this puja has 6 parts. And the Tara mantra is happening after the confession section. That is the 3rd part. The reading is happening after entreaty and supplication, which is the 5th part. And the Amitabha mantra is happening after fruition, which is the 6th part of the puja. Yeah. So hopefully, and this puja was created at Dana Kosha on a Green Buddhism retreat in 2003, and it's been compiled by Akupa and Lokabandhu. So yes. Okay, so maybe David, could you spotlight Silasiri and me? And then we'll just all get ready in our individual places. If you need to light a candle or anything. Yeah, just getting ready for the puja. I can't promise we'll be finished at 7:30 exactly. Do feel okay to drop out if you need to leave early. Okay. So just taking a moment to arrive. Taking a few deep breaths and just getting ready to drawing this conference to a close. Green Puja, firstly worship. For all the Buddhas, those guiding stars to freedom.
For all the Buddhas, those guiding stars to freedom.
For Buddha nature, that force of great love.
Of Buddha nature, that falls of great love.
That lies at the heart of all things.
That lies at the heart of all things.
I conjure up and offer forests full of wood.
We can drop and offer forests full of wood.
That keep being safe and warm.
That keep being safe and warm.
Hedgerows full of fruit.
Hedgerows full of fruit.
Places for birds to nest.
Places for birds to nest.
And bees to swarm.
And bees to swarm.
The radiant luminosity of maple leaves in autumn.
The radiant luminosity of maple leaves in autumn.
May my mind be so bright, even in death.
May my mind be so bright, even in death.
I offer the smell of fallen leaves.
I offer the smell of fallen leaves.
And the sound of wind.
And the sound of wind.
Combing through the forest.
Combing through the forest.
I offer snow-covered mountains.
I offer snow-covered mountains.
Stretching to the horizon.
stretching to the horizon.
The joy of the pure mountain stream
The joy of the pure mountain stream
that anticipates his arrival at the sea.
that anticipates his arrival at the sea.
With gratitude I give
With gratitude I give
the pure, cool waters
the pure, cool waters
where otters dive and play,
where otters dive and play.
the face of day seen in the loch. The face of day seen in the loch.
The face of day seen in the loch.
The song of freedom rolling from its lips.
The song of freedom rolling from its lips.
The melody that gently washes the shore.
The melody that gently washes the shore.
I offer moonlight sparkling on the water.
I offer moonlight sparkling on the water.
And the breeze that comes in from an ocean wave.
And the breeze that comes in from an ocean wave.
In harmony with the whales in the deep.
In harmony with the whales in the deep.
Singing their song in unison.
Singing their song in unison.
Uniting the oceans of the world.
Uniting the oceans of the world.
I offer up ponds with beautiful lotuses.
I offer up palms with beautiful lotuses.
And skies full of colored rainbows.
And skies full of colored rainbows.
I give the trees.
I give the trees.
The birds.
The birds.
The sun and the sky.
The sun and the sky.
Our friends that help us smile.
Our friends that help us smile.
The complete sincerity and boundless joy.
The complete sincerity and boundless joy.
I offer all the love I have known in my life.
I offer all the love I've known in my life.
The love of our mother who gave us our life.
The love of our mother who gave us our life.
Of our father who deserves our respect.
Of our father who deserves our respect.
Of our loved ones near and far.
Of our loved ones near and far.
Of our teachers who gave us their learning.
Of our teachers who gave us their learning.
Of our friends.
Of our friends.
Who support us through life.
Who support us through life.
All these precious things.
All these precious things.
And the very space between the stars.
And the very space between the stars.
I give to Buddha love, to Buddha wisdom.
I give to Buddha love, to Buddha wisdom.
Going for refuge and touching the earth precepts. Out of my devotion to the Buddha.
Out of my devotion to the Buddha.
To his teaching.
To his teaching.
To the noble Sangha.
To the noble Sangha.
I vow not to touch the earth with hatred, bringing war.
I vow not to touch the earth with hatred, bringing war.
I vow not to touch the earth with greed, bringing famine.
I vow not to touch the earth with greed, bringing famine.
I vow not to touch the earth with impurity, bringing pollution.
I vow not to touch the earth with impurity, bringing pollution.
I vow not to touch the earth with desire for power, bringing destruction.
I vow not to touch the earth with desire for power, bringing destruction.
I vow not to touch the earth with lies, bringing division.
I vow not to touch the earth with lies, bringing division.
I vow not to touch the earth with fear, bringing hopelessness.
I vow not to touch the earth with fear, bringing hopelessness.
I vow not to touch the earth with ignorance, bringing darkness.
I vow not to touch the earth with ignorance, bringing darkness.
Avoiding all these and other negative situations,
Avoiding all these and other negative situations,
I vow instead to touch the earth with compassion, bringing happiness.
I vow instead to touch the earth with compassion, bringing happiness.
I vow to touch the earth with simplicity, bringing abundance.
I vow to touch the earth with simplicity, bringing abundance.
I vow to touch the earth with stillness, bringing peace.
I vow to touch the earth with stillness, bringing peace.
I vow to touch the earth with courage, bringing hope.
I vow to touch the earth with courage, bringing hope.
I vow to touch the earth with wisdom, bringing freedom.
I vow to touch the earth with wisdom, bringing freedom.
I vow to touch the earth with Buddhahood, bringing a Buddha field.
I vow to touch the earth with Buddhahood, bringing a Buddha field.
And now the refuges and precepts in unison. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Buddhang saranang gacchami. Dhammang saranang gacchami. Sanghang saranang gacchami. Dutiyampi buddhang saranang gacchami. Dutiyampi dharmang saranang gacchami. Dutiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami. Tatyampi buddhang saranang gacchami. Tatyampi dharmang saranang gacchami. Tatyampi sanghang saranang gacchami. Panatipata veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami. Adinadana veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami. Kamesu michachara veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami. Musavada veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami. Suramaria maja pamadatana veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami. Sadhu. Sadhu, sadhu. With deeds of loving kindness, I purify my body. With open-handed generosity, I purify my body. With stillness, simplicity, and contentment, I purify my body. With truthful communication, I purify my speech. With mindfulness, clear and radiant, I purify my mind. Confession. Embraced by the compassion of the Buddhas,
Embraced by the compassion of the Buddhas,
I acknowledge the harm I have done
I acknowledge the harm I have done
to this our planet,
to this our planet,
harm I have done with my own hands,
harm I have done with my own hands,
and harm I have paid others to do,
and harm I have paid others to do,
harm done through greed or fear,
harm done through greed or fear,
harm done through ignorance or complacency.
harm done through ignorance or complacency.
I confess to the taking of life
I confess to the taking of life
through eating meat or fishing.
through eating meat or fishing.
I confess to destroying gardens
I confess to destroying gardens
and the cutting down of trees.
and the cutting down of trees.
I confess causing pollution
I confess causing pollution
through needless car use and air travel.
through needless car use and air travel.
I acknowledge taking more than my share
I acknowledge taking more than my share
of the earth's precious gifts,
of the earth's precious gifts,
and I confess that for too long
and I confess that for too long
I have been silently complicit
I've been silently complicit
in the destruction of nature
in the destruction of nature
through my resentment, frustration, or indecision.
through my resentment, frustration, or indecision.
I regret that I have failed to stand up as her advocate and champion.
I regret that I have failed to stand up as Earth's advocate and champion. Om Tare Tu Re Swaha. 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 Om Tare Tu tare ture swaha. 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 Tare ture swaha.
Rejoicing in merit. With respect and joy I bring to mind
With respect and joy I bring to mind
the qualities of the Bodhisattvas.
the qualities of the Bodhisattvas.
Through my efforts I resolve to manifest them.
Through my efforts I resolve to manifest them.
To heal a broken world.
To heal a broken world.
With Buddha nature as my guide.
With Buddha nature as my guide.
May I cultivate all these things and more.
May I cultivate all these things and more.
The stillness of a mountain lake.
The stillness of a mountain lake.
The clarity of a stream.
The clarity of a stream.
The purity of an icicle.
The purity of an icicle.
May I have the confidence of a lion.
May I have the confidence of a lion.
The enduring strength of an ancient oak.
The enduring strength of an ancient oak.
The all-pervading quality of water.
The all-pervading quality of water.
The ever-renewing quality of coppice woodland.
The ever-renewing quality of coppice woodland.
May my activity be as beautiful as the kingfisher.
May my activity be as beautiful as the kingfisher.
As light as the gazelle.
As light as the gazelle.
As patient as the heron.
As patient as the heron.
As patient as the elephant.
As patient as the elephant.
As patient as the mountain.
As patient as the mountain.
I rejoice in all these qualities.
I rejoice in all these qualities.
And aspire to give them.
And aspire to give them.
To our suffering world.
To our suffering world.
With a heart of friendship.
The heart of friendship.
Vast like the great blue sky.
Vast like the great blue sky.
Entreaty and supplication. Saluting them with folded hands.
saluting them with folded hands.
I entreat the Buddhas in all the quarters.
I entreat the Buddhas in all the quarters.
May they make shine the lamp of the Dharma
May they make shine the lamp of the Dharma
for those wandering in the suffering of delusion.
for those wandering in the suffering of delusion.
With hands folded in reverence,
With hands folded in reverence,
I implore the conquerors desiring to enter nirvana.
I implore the conquerors desiring to enter nirvana.
May they remain here for endless ages,
May they remain here for endless ages,
so that life in this world does not grow dark.
so that life in this world does not grow dark.
Stiller Freund der vielen Fernen, fühle, wie dein Atem noch den Raum vermehrt. Im Gebälk der finstern Glockenstühle lass dich läuten. Das, was an dir zehrt, wird ein starkes über dieser Nahrung. Geh in der Verwandlung aus und ein. Was ist deine leidendste Erfahrung? Ist dir Trinken bitter? Werde Wein. Sei in dieser Nacht aus Übermaß, Zauberkraft am Kreuzweg deiner Sinne, ihrer seltsamen Begegnung Sinn. Und wenn dich das Irdische vergaß, zu der stillen Erde sag, ich rinne. Zu dem raschen Wasser sprich, ich bin. Silent friend of many distances, feel how your breath enlarges all of space. Let your presence ring out like a bell into the night. What feeds upon your face grows mighty from the nourishment thus offered. Move through transformation, out and in. What is the deepest loss that you have suffered? If drinking is bitter, change yourself to wine. In this immeasurable darkness, be the power that rounds your senses in their magic ring, the sense of their mysterious encounter. And if the earthly no longer knows your name, whisper to the silent earth, I'm flowing. To the flashing water say, I am.
Fruition. To the welfare of all beings, I dedicate my practice.
To the welfare of all beings, I dedicate my practice.
Through the wholeheartedness of my commitment,
Through the wholeheartedness of my commitment,
may all beings be free of disease, drought, and famine.
may all beings be free of disease, drought, and famine.
May I do as little harm as possible.
May I do as little harm as possible.
May I be a beacon,
May I be a beacon,
showing the interconnectedness of all beings to one another.
showing the interconnectedness of all beings to one another.
May all become conscious
May all become conscious
of the consequences of their actions.
of the consequences of their actions.
May they consume only what they need,
May they consume only what they need
and rediscover deep happiness.
and rediscover deep happiness.
May the beauty of the earth be revealed to them,
May the beauty of the earth be revealed to them,
and may the world become a happier and healthier place to live.
and may the world become a happier and healthier place to live.
May the great forests be protected,
May the great forests be protected.
may elephants roam wild and free,
May elephants roam wild and free.
may the 7 oceans teem with life,
May the 7 oceans teem with life,
and may calves not be taken from their mothers.
and may cows not be taken from their mothers.
Through my practice,
Through my practice,
may all beings discover the bodhicitta,
may all beings discover the bodhicitta,
and the whole world become sukhavati.
and may the whole world succumb to poverty.
The pure lands of the Buddha of compassion.
The pure lands of the Buddha of compassion.
Om Mami Devari. 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 Om Mami Devari.
this brings us to the end of our session and our conference. Feel free to leave quietly or unmute yourself as you like. It's been lovely to see you all.